we're taking you back, as promised, to pictures from Paris, because that significant breaking news that that pension change from 62 to 64 has been approved by the Constitutional Council. Let me just tell you the latest line coming from just one of the union leaders, who has vowed in the last few minutes to, quote, fight on to continue their protest against these pension reforms. So let's go to our correspondent Hugh Schofield, who's there on the ground. And Hugh, just give us a sense. I'm sure that news has filtered to the crowds behind you. Your sense of how that has gone down and where you think this now goes.
Well, yes, it's just in the last few minutes that the news has come through to the crowd that's gathered here outside the City Hall, the Hôtel de Ville, which is about, I don't know, just a few hundred metres really from where the Conseil Constitutionnel, the Constitutional Council, sits. But that's heavily protected and no one is allowed to go anywhere near there. Yes, and the news has filtered in. It's obviously a disappointment to everyone around here, because people who are opposed to the law had been banking on the Constitutional Council coming out with some kind of censure of the law. They were hoping for a complete censure. What they've got instead is something that's very, very partial. Only a few small minor elements have been censured by the Constitutional Council. And the big story is, of course, that the main point, raising the pension age from 62 to 64, remains in. The Council said that that was not a problem. That was in conformity with the Constitution, and so there was no reason for it to strike it down. The reaction here, to be honest with you, is a little bit kind of unclear. The mood is one of defiance still. There's a few people we've spoken to in the last minute have said the fight goes on, and I see from the reactions coming in from the hard-left leader Jean-Luc Mélenchon, from Marine Le Pen of the far right, both, of course, die-hard opponents of this law, they're saying it's not over, we're keeping going. But, you know, one has to say what the ruling means is that President Macron now has a constitutional obligation in the next 2 weeks to promulgate this law. So by the latest, in 2 weeks today, this law will be law. And on top of that, it will be a law shorn of some of the elements which were there to design to make it the pill a bit sweeter.
Yes.
They've been removed by the Constitutional Council. So it will become law. And then the question really is what the unions and the left decide to do about their movement of opposition.
Absolutely. And as you're speaking, Hugh, President Macron has been quoted from TV reports of saying he will sign into law this reform bill within the next 48 hours. So a little quicker than what you were saying. So he has won today and he doesn't want to mess about. He wants to get on with this. He has invested huge amounts of personal capital into this, hasn't he?
I think his view and his hope is that the sooner this is wrapped up, the better. Quite clearly, he's presided over a country that is deeply split over this, and he personally has become very unpopular over it. The democratic process is blocked in Parliament. There's very little prospect of any cooperation from the other parties. He's become, for many people, a reviled figure. But his calculation is the long term. That if he can get this done quickly, over with, then soon, not immediately, but at some point quite soon, this will become just part of the furniture, the legal furniture of the country, and attention will move elsewhere. Right now, it seems like a bit of a forlorn hope, but he is taking that long-term view.
Hugh Schofield there in Paris. Thanks very much.